What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome back to another video. Today's video, we're going to focus on high yield international ETFs. These are ETFs that focus on international markets outside of US and Canada for portfolio diversification. And we've got a brand new one from Evolve ETFs, ticker symbol INTY. This is INTY, the Evolve International Equity Ultra Yield ETF, part of their Ultra Yield lineup, and it just started trading this week. We're also going to go through a couple of other ETFs that could diversify you outside of North American markets and still get those high yield monthly distributions. As always, guys, nothing on this video or this channel is financial advice. These are only my opinions. Having said all that, guys, let's jump into INTY. This one just started trading, and like I said, it is part of their ultra yield lineup. Their NAV is currently sitting around $25. And it's only been trading for a day or two, so there's been not much change. But as we know, Evolve and their ultra yield lineup, they're using that 33% leverage. It's pretty concentrated. There's only 10 holdings in here. And because it's new, there's just 2.5 million AUM, but they do have those distributions declared twice a month at 26 cents per unit. Their ultra yield lineup involves Biggie, Canny, 6E, and now INTY. Biggie gets you that US exposure, Canny for Canadian, and 6E if you're looking at those big Canadian banks. So INTY's investing in leading international companies outside North America. You're getting a covered call strategy that covers up to half of the portfolio. You're getting 33% leverage and twice a month cash dividends. You've got a management fee of 0.60%, and the distributions are coming in at 26 cents per unit for the first two distributions. I did some quick math based off the NAV and those dividends. I think we're looking at around a 25% yield on this one, but that's going to be, if things stay stable, we'll see how this ETF performs. We're going to now jump into the portfolio and the holdings, but you can see how they've weighted things. You've got 20% in Japan, about 20% in Britain, and then 10% in Netherlands, Taiwan, China, Switzerland, Denmark, and Sweden. Now, you probably notice some of these holdings, you'll probably recognize some, but the top two are semiconductor. Then you've got Toyota, Sony, Alibaba, Shell for some energy in there, Novartis, AstraZeneca, Novo Nordisk for some healthcare, and then you've got Spotify in here as well. You've got some pretty big, well-known international names in here. Again, guys, it's fairly concentrated though. There's just 10 holdings. For me personally, as an investor, this is too concentrated in international holdings for me to want to make it part of my portfolio. But having said that, I can see why some people would want some exposure to the big international names, and you still get those high monthly distributions. We're going to look at a couple of other options for people who are looking to diversify away from the US and Canada, or just add a little bit of diversification into a portfolio. There is a few other options out there. There's EQCL from Global X. This one's been around for a while. You're getting a current yield of about 11.5%, and you still get those monthly distributions. This one also has some good track records of dividend growth and stable dividends. So it's been trading now for a little while. I think we've got about 3 years, maybe more years of dividend history on this one. And basically, guys, this is how it's weighted. You've got the majority in the US, and then you've still got a lot in Canada, 45% in US, 20% in Canada, but you do get Japan, Britain, France, Switzerland, Germany, China, Taiwan, and Australia in there. And basically, here's the holdings. It's just holding other Global X ETFs, diversified between the US, Canada, and all the other markets. And then they add some leverage on there. So it's kind of nice. You get an ETF that's holding other in-house ETFs, and Global X is a very good ETF provider, in my opinion. So for me, this is something I would probably lean towards more so than anything else. But again, guys, this is not going to be as high yield as INTY. We also have another option here. This is the Purpose International Enhanced Equity Income Fund. They just changed the name and the structure on this one. Before this was known as the Purpose International Tactical Hedged Equity Fund. So they do have a press release. They changed the details and the name of this fund. They will be coming out with monthly distributions now. And they're writing on 50% of the portfolio, as well as they're using selective cash covered puts that you guys can see here. So that's pretty interesting. So you get a bit of a different strategy with this one. This one is also outside of North America, so there is no exposure to the US or Canada. However, this will have a smaller yield. This is about an 8% yield right now. But if we look at the portfolio, you're looking at over 20% in Japan, and then you got Germany, France, Switzerland, Britain, Australia, Italy. You got Spain, Netherlands in there, UK, Ireland, and Hong Kong. So again, guys, very, very well diversified, and they do have a large portfolio, as you guys can see here. They've got a lot of holdings. Scrolling all the way down, I don't think I need to go through all of them, but you guys get the idea. They've got a lot. But what I did notice is that some of these holdings do overlap with Inti. They've got Novartis in here as their top holding. They've also got Sony and Shell, and I'm sure there's going to be some more overlap. So this could be a lower yielding option, and then you do get more diversification. You're not going to get that same large dividend that Inti would offer, and you're not going to get those twice a month distributions, but it's an interesting strategy, and you do get further diversification with a larger portfolio. One other thing to consider, I guess you could maybe consider it something closer to EQCL, is the Canoe EIT Income Fund, where you still get 50% Canadian and you got 45% US. So it is heavily tilted towards North America, but you do have 5.5% in international equity. So 2.5% in Spain, 1.5% in Switzerland and Ireland. I wouldn't consider this an international ETF, but I thought I'd throw it out there because this is a very well managed fund, heavily tilted towards North America, but there still is some international exposure in there. And I feel like maybe they've been dialing it up because I don't recall it being as high as 5.5%. But Inti, guys, is definitely going to be the highest yield. I think you're looking at north of 20% for sure. Twice a month distributions is nice. However, you do have exposure just to 10 companies, so you have to be comfortable with those 10 holdings. I'm sure Evolve has done their homework. They all seem like great companies. But as far as portfolio diversification, you are getting diversified outside North America, but only in 10 names. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Would you go for Inti? Would you go for the one from Purpose? Or would you keep it with EQCL or Canoe? I think the Inti strategy is pretty cool. It's different. However, I just wish there was more holdings in that portfolio. If there was, could be something that I would consider. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, go ahead, smash that like button, and feel free to leave me a comment. I hope everybody out there has a great weekend. I'll catch you guys in the next video.